Hello everybody, welcome back to the Traxion YouTube channel. Welcome to Knockhill for this iRacing Touring Car Challenge track guide. Now, Knockhill and the touring cars, really good combination, really popular. Although the racing here does tend to be a little bit chaotic, and getting out in front in qualifying is definitely your best bet. But if you followed my track guides before, you'll know that they are not a place for hot laps. It's a slow, methodical approach where we learn the circuit, talk about my braking markers, my reference points, and the little quirks that each circuit has. So as usual, I will show you a flying lap in full, then we'll jump in the car, do a few laps, show you those braking markers and reference points in action. Then at the end, we'll talk about pit entry, pit exit, and where I think you might be able to overtake here at Knockhill. So enough talking, let's get on track. So here we are on the main straight here at Knockhill. So as usual, we've set the sim time to match the official series. So it's the 14th of May 2022 and the time in the sim is 1:40 p.m. We're also using the iRacing sprint setup, which is what is used in the official series. Track temperature right now, as you can see on screen, is 41 degrees Celsius, exactly the same as it was in the flying lap that you've just seen. Brake bias this week, we've gone for 43.8%. I think that's a really good compromise. There are some heavy braking zones, but there are quite a few areas on the circuit where we are trail braking. So 43.8% works for me this week. Now, Knockhill, it's all about being smooth, as with Summit Point, but you need to be really smooth with your throttle application because there are a few really tight corners where we need a good exit. And if you start understeering with wheel spin, then your lap time is ruined. So turn number one, we're going to be approaching it on the left-hand side. We're going to be fifth gear. And we're going to be using a portion of this pit lane exit to our advantage to open up turn number one. So we're going to be moving across. We're going to be fifth gear. So just after the blue cone, we're going to be braking and we're going to be going down to fourth gear. Now, it's really important here that we release the brakes nice and smoothly to get the car nice and settled as we turn in, because you can see there's a crest. It goes up, then it goes down. The last thing we want is a car that is unsettled. We want to stay off the red sausage curb on the right, so try and clip this curb as little as you can. Turning quite late. We want to go across the blue, and here we're going to be off the gas, on the gas, off the gas again. So it's on, off as we go down here. So we accelerate after turn one, down the hill through turn two. Then we're going to be off the gas, let it coast around here just to weight the front tyres. Then back on the gas here for a very short time. Then back on the brakes when we hit the curb down to second gear. And we're going to turn in quite late for this one. Stay off the sausage curb again on the right. And get on the accelerator. Let the car run all the way out wide. And this is going to be flat out all the way down here. Third gear. And then fourth gear just as we round this turn. And then we'll want the car over to the right because we want to open up this chicane on the left-hand side. Because we want to be attacking it kind of from this angle here. We want to be cutting across our left tyres on the red part of the chicane. Now, as we go over the crest, obviously we can't see the right-hand part of the chicane. And on a flying lap at speed, you turn in right before you actually see the chicane. So here, we're going to be fourth gear, then we're going to be braking here, down to third gear, and we're going to be cutting. We're going to be taking about all this. Now, if you're driving at normal speeds and run across the grass, you'll get an off track. But because we're hitting this at speed, the right tyres are actually going to jump across the grass. So the left tyres will be on the track. The right tyres will be in the air. So we won't get off track. So it's off the gas at this point. We're not accelerating until the car lands again. Then we can get back on the gas. Third gear, the car will run out wide. Then we're going to be up to fourth gear for turn number 7. We're going to be using all of the curb on the left-hand side to open up turn number 7 as much as we can. And we're going to be hard on the brakes, but we're going to turn in quite late. Again, release the brake nice and smoothly, and then get on the gas. Don't hit the sausage curb. The car will run all the way out wide. Try not to go on the sand. If you go on the sand there, then your lap is ruined because it takes you about 4 weeks to get back onto the circuit. So we're going to be flat out, 5th gear all the way down to turn number 9, the final turn. And there's a darker patch of grass just above my dashboard there. When we're actually moving quickly, you can see it. That's going to be our braking marker, and we're going to be going all the way down into 1st gear for the final turn. Now, it's a really, really tricky turn, this one, because we need to come off the brakes nice and smoothly. But really important here, we need to get on the accelerator nice and smoothly. Not 100% initially, just gradually work it up there, and then when the car's straight, then you can get on the gas 100%. Right, so we'll pick up the pace slowly now. So approaching turn 1, 5th gear, using portion of this pit lane exit. Then we're going to be on the brakes after the blue cone, then off the brakes nice and smoothly, accelerate down the hill, then off, let it coast, back on, and then back on the brakes. Turning quite late for this one. Then get on the accelerator, the car will run out wide. So it's flat out all the way down here, up to 4th. Then attack this curb here, down to 3rd. Let the car land, and then back on the accelerator. Up to 4th. Braking when we get to the curb. Turning quite late. And then again, nice and smooth with your throttle. Just so we don't go on the sand on the left. And 5th gear, looking for the darker patch of grass. Can you see it? There it is. And braking hard all the way down to 1st gear. Nice and smooth with your throttle on exit. You can see the throttle trace there. Quite linear. Right, we'll pick up the pace and one out. So 55.2. So use part of the pit lane exit after the blue cone. Brake in, off the brakes nice and gently. Then accelerate down the hill, then coast. Back on the accelerator, then brake. Then get on the gas. The car run all the way out wide. Up to 4th. Attack this curb. When the car lands, then you can get the accelerator. Oh, off track there. Cheeky little off track. Tyres are still not up to temperature yet, so I'm gonna give myself a bye there with that one. So looking for the darker patch of grass. There it is, hard on the brakes. Down to 1st gear. No excuses now though, tyres are nice and warm. Right, we'll do one more flying lap. It's a little bit quicker. Well, 2 or 3 seconds quicker. So 52.4, right, let's smash that lap time. So after the blue cone, brake in, off the brakes nice and smoothly, on the gas, let it course through here, then back on the gas, then brake, down to 2nd gear. And get on the accelerator, car will run out wide, up to 3rd, up to 4th, attack this curb. There we go, jump that completely. So on the curb we're going to brake, turning quite late, then get on the gas. Use all of this on exit. And looking for the darker patch of grass. There it is. Hard all the way down to 1st gear. Nice and smooth with the throttle as we exit. That's better. That shouldn't be a bad lap time, this one. 52.28. So yeah, not as quick as it was in the flying lap that you saw, but a reasonable enough lap time to put you up towards the sharp end. Right, let's talk about pit entry, pit exit, and where I think we can overtake. So pit entry here at Knockhill is actually pretty straightforward. It's just on the straight after the final turn on the left-hand side, as you can see. Although the yellow cone is hidden. It's not the easiest cone to spot, so you've got to know where it is. So we're going to be entering pit lane here. And where's the yellow cone? Where's the yellow cone? Where is it? Where is it? There it is there. You can just see it behind the blue tyres there on the right-hand side. So you've got to make sure you get your pit limiter on before they're 60 kilometers an hour. Pit exit. It's not too bad. It's only a very, very short pit exit here, or pit lane here. But one thing you need to be aware of is people are going to be using the pit exit to open up turn number 1. So keep an eye on your relative. They should be keeping an eye on their relative too. And if you're exiting the pits, they shouldn't be entering the pit exit lane. But just bear that in mind. That's the only thing you need to worry about. Goes down to turn 1. Hopefully people have seen you coming out the pits and they're going to give you room on the inside. But pretty straightforward. Just keep an eye on people exploiting the pit exit lane. Right, overtaking here at Knockhill is pretty difficult. So overtaking here at Knockhill, it's actually really difficult. Unfortunately, we're kind of reliant on people making mistakes. But as usual, we're going to assume that people are going to defend, and we're going to talk about what we can do to try and combat that defensive driving. So turn number 1 is obviously the biggest overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Maybe last turn, but turn number 1, because it is quite a long straight, the longest straight on the circuit. Normally, we would obviously approach it over here, but if you're racing somebody, they're going to defend. They're going to put themselves in this position over here. And in reality, there's no way we're going to go around the outside turn number 1. If we do, then we're going to be too wide through turn number 2, but then they've got the inside line for turn 3 and 4. Realistically, you're not going to get it done. So the only thing I would do here to try and get a move done on the first sector of the lap is make them defend all the way down to turn number 1. We're going to be right behind them at this point, all the way down, and then at the last moment we're going to shift over, try and take our normal line. Now hopefully the guy that's defending is going to brake and he's going to find himself over here somewhere, because he doesn't want you to go by. He's desperate. If he ends up in this position, then we can take our normal line and maybe slot in down the inside down into turn number 3. That's the only way I can see an overtake being done on the first few turns. From here on, nothing really going to happen, nothing safely anyway. Going too wide down here into the chicane, it's only going to end in tears. But what you can do here, you can hopefully put somebody under pressure right on their bumper, make them make a mistake coming out of the chicane. Because if you do, and if you do go on the sand, then it takes you God knows how long to get back off it. You might be able to get an overtake done down into turn number 7 on the inside. If you do get a really good exit out of the chicane, you might be able to get an overtake done on the inside. Although, you might be able to go around the outside turn number 7. I would quite fancy my chances here around the outside, taking a nice wide line. Because our apex speed is greater, we're going to have a better exit. We might be able to get by them and get the move done before we get to the final turn. If that's the case, then we can move over and defend turn number 9. If not, if somebody's here defending, well, you're not going to get around the outside turn number 9, that's for certain. So you're going to have to make them defend. Similar story to turn number 1. Then we're going to move over at the last moment, and we're going to drop a little bit deeper, and we're going to think about the exit, and we're going to try and make the exit of the final turn as straight as we can, so we can get on the gas a little bit sooner. Then, hopefully, we can get alongside them up the inside. If not, then it puts us in a good position to make them go super defensive, which is what I explained at the beginning. Make them go a little bit deep, so we can then maybe switch it back going into turn number 2. Really difficult this week. Like I mentioned, we're going to be reliant on people making mistakes, but it's always good fun racing, always really close, but not really easy to overtake. So there we go, that's Knockhill done. Please let me know down below in the comments how you get on. What were your times before the guide and what were your times after? Did I help? Did I cover everything that you wanted to be covered in a track guide? My bit of advice this week is just try and put people under pressure so they make a mistake. That's the much easier way of overtaking somebody here at Knockhill. As always, thank you for watching. Good luck. Keep it pinned.